everyone. So welcome back to my channel. I hope you are liking my videos. So the topic of my next video is ISO 14001. We'll also talk about what it focuses on and how it benefits the organization and what are its basic steps. So let's start the video. So let's start by explaining what ISO 14001 really is. So it is an internationally recognized standard for EMS. What EMS is? EMS is Environmental Management System. So it provides a framework that organizations can follow to effectively manage the environmental system and the policies and the rules. So the ISO focuses on identification of the environmental impacts. That means identifying what impacts it has on the environment in general. Also compliance with the legal and regulatory frameworks, whether the organizations are complying with the legal and the regulations that are to be followed. Next is setting the objectives and targets for the standards. So next focus is on implementing the operational controls. Last one is conducting periodic reviews so that we can understand if the standards are regularly followed or not, or if there are anything that can be changed or anything that can be corrected. So that's why these standards are used. Next we'll learn how these standards help the organization. So by implementing ISO 14001, it can definitely benefit to the organization. So number one point is it reduces the environmental footprint. Also it will enhance the resource efficiency. It will mitigate the risk-taking powers. It will also improve the shareholders relation, because if the organization is ISO certified, it will build a trust factor among the shareholders and they will try to invest more and more in the organization. Next is enhance the overall reputation of the organization and the competitiveness of the organization. Next we'll study what are the basic steps of ISO 14001, how we can implement it in the organization. So the first step of ISO 14001 is identifying the environmental aspects and listing down the activities along with the products and the services that are causing potential harm to the environment, and that also those are creating carbon footprints that are harmful for the environment. So we'll see this in detail also. The activities means the process, that means the transportation activities, the manufacturing activities, chemical handling processes that are done. Also, if we see in the manufacturing process, there are some activities such as painting, welding, chemical sorting, some things that are some of the activities that cause environmental damage. And services, I mean identifying the environmental aspects that are done in the life cycle, that I mean the supply chain of the organization. For example, in the raw material extraction process, then the next one is production process, then the recycling process or the disposal process. So there are many environmental aspects that cause harm to the environment that are to be stopped, that are to be listed down first of all here. And the next step we'll talk about the cause and effect relationship. Also, once we have listed down the activities, the products and the services, our next step is to find out the cause and the effect caused because of it in the process. So for example, I have illustrated it with a paper example. So in the organization we use a large amount of paper. For example, in the printing process, in filing document, the documentation process, in the packaging process, and there are also some more usage of the paper in the production process as well. So use of paper is the cause. Use of paper is the cause, and effect is the waste created because of that cause. So it establishes a relationship between the use of paper and the waste created because of it. So the waste could be the discarded paper materials, the papers that are thrown out in the dustbin, the outdated papers that are that lie down on the desks, on the benches. So other thing is the aspect, and so aspect is the consumption of paper, and impact is the waste that is generated because of it, and also the resources that are depleted. So resources that I mean is by the use of paper, a large amount of trees are cut down every year. So this is the resource that are depleted because of the use of paper. And if we see another example, some other resource that might get depleted because of this. So this is the cause and the effect relationship that is to be established first of all. And the next step, so in this step we first saw the listing down of the activities, the products and the services. Secondly, we talked about establishing the cause and effect relationship between them. So the last step is assessment criteria. So the basis of the assessment criteria is severity, occurrence and detection. So first of all, we'll talk about severity. How severe is the issue? That means use of paper. For example, if we talked about severity is how severe it is, how that means if it affects minimally or it has a catastrophic effect on the environment. Next is occurrence, how frequently it occurs, how frequently it causes harm to the environment, if it harms on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, very frequently or low frequently. Next is the detection. If it is to be detected, if it is easy to detect. Next is if the detection process, that means if the environmental harm that is caused, the activities, product or the services is easy to detect or not. If it is not, the scoring system will be low. That we'll do in the next lecture. That is, we'll see how scoring system is useful and how it is basically used using an example. This will be our next video. So we'll end this video right here. After this is the last step, and every organization should do the scoring system to see how it impacts the environment and how it can lead to a severe changes in the future.